G'day lads. Today we're gonna go through measurement this term. Normally we would have finished term 2 with measurement after linear algebra, but I think we'll save linear algebra for when we get back to school. So today's lesson is just on everyday measurement. So if you were all here in front of me in the classroom, I would probably do a bit of a brainstorming session on what everyday measurement includes. But the first and most obvious one is length. So what do we use to measure lengths? Well, the main one that we'd probably use is meters. And if you were going on a trip somewhere, you would probably measure that in kilometers. Another one that all builders use is millimeters. And then there's a fourth measurement which is a bit more unique, and that is centimeters. So what we want to do a lot of the time is convert between units of length. So if we had something measured in meters and we wanted to go to millimeters, we'd want to know how to do that. So I would ask, how many millimeters are in a meter? Well, milli means 1,000, like millennium, millipede, millennial, it's my generation. So that means 1,000 is what milli means. So milli is thousandth, I guess, 1,000, and kilo is 1,000. We've gone through those suffixes of those words a little bit in class when we're talking about thousandths versus thousands. So when you're making a conversion, you want to just take a really simple approach. So if we had 1 meter, well, how many millimeters is that? Well, it's 1,000. So we must have multiplied by 1,000 to get millimeters. So if we were to go from meters to millimeters, we'll multiply by 1,000. So if I had 3 meters, how many millimeters is that? Well, it's 3,000 millimeters. So we must multiply forward. Multiply back to millimeters. So if I had a kilometer, well, how many meters is that? Well, it's 1,000. So I must times by 1,000 when I go from kilometers to meters. If I had 4.5 kilometers, I have 4,500 meters. So you can actually go from kilometers to meters and then down to millimeters. You could do a double conversion all the way down. The other one, which is more unique, you notice that these are both thousands. I've put the centimeters one here separately because it's a little interesting. It's not 1,000 anymore. It is cent, which we have gone through in class as meaning 100, right? Percent, centipede, century, cent meant 100. So if we're going from meters to centimeters, we would times by 100. And we've done a little bit of this in class, going forwards and backwards in terms of timesing and multiplying by 100. So if I had millimeters and I wanted to go to meters, I wouldn't be multiplying now, would I? I would be dividing by 1,000. 1,000 millimeters? Well, how many meters is that? It's 1 meter. So I must have had to divide 1,000 by 1,000 to get 1, wouldn't I? Very similar, actually exactly the same, when you're going from meters to kilometers. Hopefully that light actually helps you see this video a bit better. And if you were going back from centimeters to meters, you could simply divide by 100. If I had 200 centimeters, you would know that that's 2 meters, right? But if something more complicated, then it makes sense you would divide all those centimeters by 100, and you would get a meter. Now the next everyday measurement would be mass. Mass is the next one. So the masses we have are grams. If you were doing any baking over this lockdown period, you'd probably be measuring them in grams. And that the grams would probably come from kilograms of flour or something. And then in medication and a lot of chemistry and all that sort of stuff, you would actually use milligrams, right? We don't use these too much in everyday measurement, but you notice on a Panadol it might be 100 milligrams or 200 milligrams, and we'll take this all the way up to tons. Now mass is really easy. There's 1,000 kgs in a ton, there's 1,000 grams in a kg, and there's 1,000 milligrams in a gram. So for every one of these tons, there is 1,000 kgs, there is 1,000 grams in a kg. So for every one of these, if you multiply it by 1,000, that's how many grams you have. And that kind of makes sense, right? You're going from a large quantity down to a small one, so there's going to be more of the smaller one inside it. And also times by 1,000 for that conversion. And if you're going back, it's all division. If I had 2,000 milligrams, how many grams is that? Well, if I divide that 2,000 by 1,000, I'd have 2 grams. Makes sense. There's 2 grams would have 2,000 milligrams. And we can bring this all the way up. Like that. And that's a really nice and easy one. It's not as complicated as measurement. Measurement just has the centimeters that make it a little trickier. They're just a really nice length. So the next unit of everyday measure is liquid volume. And this one's pretty standard. You either have a big bottle of milk, it's maybe a couple litres, or maybe you're using it in baking and it's milliliters. So that's milliliters. Milli means 1,000th. So there's 1,000 mils in a litre, and if you divide by 1,000, you can convert from a mil to litres. So 5,000 mils divide by 1,000, you get 5. So it must be 5,000 mils would be 5 litres. And last of all for today is just a quick definition of area. So area is what you get when you multiply in a cube or rectangle, is what you get when you multiply a base times a height. So if we had 100 meter square, that's pretty much 2 rugby fields, isn't it? So 2 rugby fields side by side. So if I put a wee dotted line, it's like a rugby field next to each other. So that might be, almost probably a bit bigger than Tonga Park outside King's High School. But that would be 10,000 square meters. And what we call that is we call that a hectare. So we have meters squared and hectares, which are written as HA. So 1 HA is 10,000 meters squared. And that's another really good conversion to have in your pocket. So 2 hectares, 20,000 meters squared. 3 hectares, 10,000 meters squared. So we must be multiplying by 10,000 there. If we were going back, dividing by 10,000. So that's pretty much it for everyday measurement. There's some other really neat little things that happen in the metric system as well. So I might just go through those quickly as well. We can actually convert length, mass, and volume. We can actually go through those systems as well, which I'll do now. So if you wanted to just pause that video there and copy that in as a record of learning, I'm going to go through this next part of everyday measurement. So, everyday measurement continued. So if we had a 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cubed, we would say that that is 1 centimeter cubed. It's a 1 by 1 by 1. Now the special thing about the metric system is that, let's say we're talking about water. It only really works for water because it has a certain density that the metric system is based on. Then we would say that that is 1 mil. Right? That is 1 mil of water is a centimeter by a centimeter by a centimeter. Now if that's 1 mil of water, then 1 mil of water weighs 1 gram. I'll make these look like ones for you. 1 centimeter cubed of water is 1 mil, and that equals 1 gram. So what happens if we stack 10 of these on, if we made a cube where it's 10 of these high, 10 of these wide, and 10 of these long. So let's go. Let's say it's 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Well, now we've got 10 by 10, which is 100, times 10, which is 1,000. So we have 1,000 centimeters cubed. Well, that means we have 1,000 mils. And that is 1,000 grams. And so that is 1 litre, and that is 1 kilogram. Now you see how that happened? Now I've got 10 of these going up, 10 of them going along, so there's 100 on this face, 100 on this face, there's 1,000 cubes in total in there, 1,000 centimeter cubes in this. So it's 1,000 mils, 1,000 grams, which means that it's 1 litre, and that is 1 kilogram. Okay, what if we stacked 100 of these on top of each other? What if we did 100? Well, 100 centimeters would be 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. So this is 1 meter cubed. Or if this was centimeters, put these in brackets, 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters. Well, 100 times 100 is 10,000, times another 100, I believe that is 1,000,000 centimeters cubed. So if I had a meter by meter by meter, I'd be having all these little tiny 1 centimeter cubes in there. I'd get 1,000,000 of them in. So what's that in mils? Well, that's 1 million mils of water, which is 1 million grams. And we know that from our conversion that if we wanted to convert into litres, we can divide, so we wanted to convert into litres, we divide by 1,000. So that's 1,000 litres. We convert that into kilograms, that's 1,000 kg, and we saw that 1,000 kgs is a tonne. So that's 1 tonne. Isn't that neat? A centimetre cubed is a mil is a gram. This is all for water. 1,000 centimetres cubed is 1,000 mils, which is a litre, which is 1 kilo. A metre by metre by metre, or 1 metre cubed, is 1,000,000 cubic centimeters, and that is 1,000,000 mils, which is 1,000,000 grams, and that means that is 1,000 liters, which is 1,000 kilos, which is 1 ton. So if you've ever been to a farm and seen those big white water tanks that they used to give animals, it's about a meter by a meter by a meter. Well, that is 1 ton. So there we have it, and that is why the metric system is so nice to use. Cool, I'm going to attach a little worksheet to the Google Classroom for that, doing some conversions, and that'll probably do us for today and perhaps tomorrow before we move into perimeter, area and volume.